We are back once again, guys, right here on the channel for another video for Smackdown Live. In all honesty, guys, I actually found Smackdown. You know, I find this ironic that last week Raw was the good show, SmackDown was the bad show, and now this week Raw's the bad show. And this week, SmackDown turned out to be good. Because I thought SmackDown today was not that bad. I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought it was a decent go-home show. They did, kind of bit of build towards the Royal Rumble. The show kicked off with Asuka and Becky Lynch again, just like last week. I was more wondering, the Iconics going to get involved in this whole thing again, because I was sitting there waiting like, oh, this better not be a repeat of last week. But nope, it wasn't a repeat, which I'm perfectly fine. Charlotte Flair instead comes out and gets involved, and to be honest with you, I don't really like how Charlotte Flair looks. The way she's dressed, she looks more like a heel than a babyface. I don't know. I just don't like the way Charlotte looks with the weird lipstick and the black clothing. Like, it looks more like a heel. You would think Charlotte would do that if she's a heel, but she's a babyface, so she should be looking more like a babyface. But I'm not gonna complain too much about it. I'm just not a fan of how she looks, because it looks more like a heel, if you know what I'm saying. So, Charlotte's words encourages Asuka and Becky to start a fight. That's basically how this opening scene all happens, with Charlotte Flair being out there. And, yeah, so there's like a big brawl that happens between Asuka and Becky. And, yeah, that's basically all. That's basically it on that. Yeah, Becky Lynch did utter some words, but it's just the same old thing with Becky now. Becky is still over. People still cheer for Becky. In my opinion, it's just the same old thing with Becky now. She kind of sounds the same. She always goes over about how Asuka hasn't beaten her, and how Asuka must be feeling annoyed that she's never beaten her and all that crap. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. So. And in my opinion, I don't think Becky Lynch... Now, I know that this is the way I have portrayed this as well with Sasha Banks. I don't think Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks should be allowed to compete in the Royal Rumble. Once you compete for the Women's Championship, you've lost your shot. There's no reason to go into the Royal Rumble. Because I've had a lot of my friends tell me, they're like, oh, Sasha and Becky are going to lose the match, but they're still going to get into the Royal Rumble. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. Why would you put them in the Rumble? Everybody got pissed off at Roman Reigns when he competed for the Universal Championship and he got placed into the Royal Rumble in 2017 after he competed for the Universal Championship. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair for someone to get a world title shot but still enter the Rumble. So it's either you're in the Rumble from the beginning or you're not in the Rumble. You can't just put people in. Yeah, I know there's 23 women that have been announced for the Women's Royal Rumble. But you can easily fill that out. You can easily fill that out with Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, couple of surprise entrances, and NXT talent. It's not that difficult. You don't need Becky and Sasha Banks in the Rumble. But hey, that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. Because I've always had a lot of my friends tell me that Sasha and Becky could still be in the Rumble. I don't want to see them in the Rumble, period. They've got their women's title matches, and if they win if they win or lose, they win or lose, and their night's over. That's just how I see it. So yeah, Becky and Asuka have a brawl, and it leads to backstage area. Then we cut to Mandy Rose versus Naomi. And Mandy Rose gets the victory here. Mandy Rose, I'm kind of annoyed how the commentators are considering it cheating. I mean, seriously, Mandy Rose did nothing wrong. Sonya Deville just grabbed Naomi's leg. How's that cheating? It's not like Mandy Rose was the one that cheated. But hey, they count it as cheating, so whatever. Whatever. If the babyfaces did it, it's not cheating. Exactly. When you got a heel cheating, and then when the babyfaces cheat, it's a different story. But Mandy Rose got the win here. Right person won, because Mandy Rose is the new star, and she needs to be built up. She needs to be built up for a future Women's Championship run. Cesaro takes on The Miz here. The Miz won last week against Sheamus. So what do you think happens? Cesaro gets the victory this week, and we get a brutal post-match assault from the Bar, beating down The Miz and Shane McMahon. I can never get used to The Miz as a babyface. It's really, really stupid. I'm not a fan of it. I'm telling you guys, I'm not a fan of The Miz as a face. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't like it. It's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. There's no reason for him to be a face. He's much, much better as a heel. He's best suited in a heel role. Don't understand why WWE has to try and change his character. I know people have to eventually change. I know face and heel turns have to happen, but it doesn't have to be on someone who's best suited in the role. That's just what I'm trying to tell you people. Someone like The Miz, who's best suited as a heel, you would think it's best if he stays as a heel. It's just what I'm trying to say. So the Bar just destroy The Miz and Shane McMahon in the post-match beatdown. Mr. McMahon, we're seeing a lot of Vince McMahon now. I'm starting to smell a bit of a... I'm starting to... What's the word? I don't know what the word is. I'm starting to sense a weird pattern that Vince McMahon is showing up a lot more. And the reports have said that Vince McMahon doesn't like showing his face on TV, but we've constantly seen him every week. He seems to be okay showing his face on TV. If we see him every goddamn week, we've seen less of Stephanie McMahon. If there's any McMahon we've seen less of, it's Stephanie. Stephanie McMahon we've only seen once. Shane we see common. Triple H we don't see a lot of. Vince McMahon is basically the only McMahon that's appearing every week. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of Vince McMahon. He conducts a face-to-face with the new Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. What I find funny is that they keep calling him the real AJ Styles. Then who the hell was AJ? Then who the hell was the AJ Styles we're seeing from the last 3 years? Fake AJ Styles? Seriously, I don't understand it. The real AJ Styles? What? Just because Daniel Bryan has the new apostrophe on his character name, the new Daniel Bryan, that means we have to get the real AJ Styles? Don't get me wrong, this was a good segment, but I didn't understand why they were calling him the real AJ Styles. What's the difference between the AJ Styles now to the AJ Styles we had 3 years ago? I don't know. I don't know who the hell AJ Styles was the last 3 years if this is the real AJ Styles. Don't get me wrong, this was a good segment. I actually enjoyed it. Daniel Bryan is, he's really showing his heel role. I really enjoy his heel role here. And AJ Styles attacks Daniel Bryan afterwards, but Daniel Bryan ends up winning this brawl with a running knee to AJ Styles by putting Vince McMahon in front of him as a human shield. Samoa Joe takes on Mustafa Ali, and this was an okay match. I'm not gonna go too hard here. This was an okay match, and Samoa Joe gets the victory here, counters the 054 into the Coquina Clutch. Very good stuff there for Samoa Joe. He ends up getting the victory. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas. I am not referring him as Andrade. It sounds really, really dumb that they're just calling him Andrade. What was wrong with Andrade Cien Almas? So we have a 2 out of 3 falls match here between these two guys. I find it funny that people are saying that, oh, we're going to start getting sick and tired of seeing these two guys face each other. Well, what do you have to say about NXT constantly showing Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus each other at not 1, not 2, but 3 takeovers? And you know what I heard a lot of people say? A lot of people were saying, oh, I'd love to see these two face off forever. I would watch these two guys fight each other 100 times. Look, I know NXT is different to the main roster, but I don't like it when people say, here on the main roster, we're going to get sick of seeing the same people face each other, but when NXT, quote-unquote, does the same thing, you have you share a different opinion on it. Yes, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, yes, it was a great feud, yada, yada, yada. I don't care if it's a great feud. If you're sick and tired of seeing them face each other, like I was, you would really be sick and tired of seeing them fight each other, and you don't want to see them fight anymore. Yes, I understand. It was a best out of 3. I understand that. But I hate how people are saying, oh, people will start getting sick and tired of seeing Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas. If Rey and Andrade keep putting on 5-star classics, then I don't think people would get sick and tired of seeing them. Like, exactly what I just said. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. They were putting on 5-star classics, and people really enjoyed seeing them. So if you keep putting on great matches, people will be interested to see these two guys compete. They'll love to see these two guys continue to compete. And I find it funny that WWE banned Zelina Vega from ringside. I find that hilarious. In the tag team match, she didn't interfere at all. In the singles match, she interfered, but they barred her from ringside in the Falls Count Anywhere match. I find that really hilarious. And Andrade Cien Almas did a top rope powerbomb. Literally a top rope. He was standing on the top rope, delivered a huge powerbomb, which looked brutal, to score the first pinfall. Rey Mysterio did some kind of flipping tombstone type of move to Andrade to get his pin. And these two guys are continuing to go at it back and forth for the final fall. Rey Mysterio would hit the 619 looking for the victory. And then Samoa Joe from out of nowhere, Samoa Joe attacks Rey Mysterio, and it causes Andrade Cien Almas to get disqualified. Rey Mysterio wins this match by disqualification. Samoa Joe attacks both Rey and Andrade Cien Almas, and Samoa Joe cuts with a microphone in his hand, and he warns everybody that this is what he's going to do to 29 other competitors. Then all of a sudden, and this was definitely out of nowhere. I definitely did not see this coming. From out of nowhere, Randy Orton struck from out of nowhere, delivering an RKO on Samoa Joe, and the crowd went absolute ballistic. The crowd went absolutely nuts. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, holy shit. Did Randy Orton just turn face again? So, that was my question that I was having this entire time with that RKO. I was like, holy shit, did Randy Orton just turn back face? honestly, he really didn't do much as a heel. No. I know people prefer Randy Orton as a heel, but listen to me and hear me out on this. I am actually happy they turned Randy Orton face. Not because I think he's better as a face. I truly do believe he's best as a heel. I agree, he is better as a heel. But the reason why I'm okay with Randy Orton going back to being a babyface is the fact that there's so many heels. There's so many heels on Smackdown. And who the hell was Randy going to feud with as a heel? He was done with Rey Mysterio. He did what he had to do with Jeff Hardy. Who was left? AJ Styles? After AJ Styles, who was next? Honestly, tell me, who would have been next after AJ Styles once he was done feuding with him? What, you're going to send him over to Monday Night Raw and feud with Seth Rollins and all those other faces on Raw? In my opinion, turning Randy Orton into a face is best. It's best that way. It gives you a possibility of a Randy Orton Samoa Joe feud. Randy Orton versus Andrade Cien Almas. Randy Orton versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Come on, tell me you wouldn't want to see that. I think Randy Orton going face was the best decision WWE could make. I'm glad Randy Orton's back as a face. He wasn't really doing anything as a heel. This is what they should be doing with Dean Ambrose. They should be switching him back to a face because he's not really doing anything as a heel as well. But that's just my honest opinion, guys. I'm very happy to see Randy Orton. I clearly did not see that coming either, because Randy Orton was gone for the past few weeks. So seeing Randy Orton just come out of nowhere and deliver an awesome RKO to Samoa Joe really got me out of my seat. You know me, I'm a big Randy Orton fan. So, holy crap, man. That was a really good way to end off SmackDown with Randy Orton standing tall at the end of all this carnage. So yeah, guys, that is basically, that's your SmackDown. That's all we had on our SmackDown Live, had on SmackDown Live. And in my opinion, it was a very enjoyable show. I actually enjoyed it more than Raw, which is definitely not a surprise after last week. I expected Raw to continue on that momentum, but Monday Night Raw was trash. They couldn't keep the momentum riding with the good shows on Raw. But either way, guys, thank you all so much for watching this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your opinions down below as well on what is your thoughts on SmackDown Live. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet as well. And be sure to follow me on my social media as well at pballantyne95. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will most likely be my preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver Phoenix and Royal Rumble. See you then.